In this video, we're talking about product videos. How do you shoot them? What are the tools and techniques that you use in order to have a successful product video? What do you need in post-production to really make that product video sing? And if you stick around until the end, I'm going to give you my secret on how you can maximize your investment and the return on the product videos that you create. Internet, what's going on? It's your boy Robert Teegarden back again with another video. Today we are talking about product videos. What are they? What goes inside? How do you create them? And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the additional assets you're going to need when you create a product video. If you're new here, welcome. I create content on the business of being a creative and filmmaking tips. If that's something that you're into, stick around. Let me know if you like it at the end of this video. I think it's going to be packed full of value for you. So the first question we have to ask is, what is a product video? A product video, simply put, is a video that explains a product and or the features and services that it provides. And while it's incredibly important for physical products, we actually can have product videos for digital products as well, whether it's software as a service or some type of course or something like that that you're creating also. Product videos are incredibly effective for consumers to understand what the actual product is and the benefits and value that it would be conferred to the customer itself. With 80% of people citing that a product video helped them make a buying decision, we can see the importance of product videos very clearly. But with that being said, product videos aren't as easy as just pointing a camera towards your product. There's a little bit of science and a lot of bit of art inside of these things. So let's discuss the different elements of a product video that you should be considering. Now, the first element of your product video that you should be considering is what we would call the hero shot. And these shots are really beautifully designed video that make your product look like, well, the hero. So hence the name, we can understand why we would have them. Oftentimes these shots are stylized in some sort of way, whether it's adding elements or ingredients from that product that make sense for the particular shot. It also helps balance out the shot that we're seeing, even though that most of the things that we're seeing now from a product video standpoint are in vertical formats. We still can add different elements to that thing to make us feel a little bit more immersed in what that product does and what it has to offer, but also make the shot a little bit more alluring psychologically to the eye. So you can see in these examples that we're showing, it's not simply just the product itself. There are different elements that have some sort of contribution to what that product is. It's also a really good idea for you to have some sort of motion in that shot. Now, whether that's the product spinning on a tabletop spinner or you having motion in terms of the pan and tilt and yaw of your camera, or even if you have a motorized slider and start to get really crazy with some of these trick shot elements. The other thing that really helps while shooting product videos and hero shots is shooting them on a longer lens. Oftentimes what we'll use is some sort of macro lens or like an 85mm prime so that you can really have compression in the shot and separate your product from the background, giving it more of that hero aspect as well. Sometimes what we'll do too is we'll kind of shoot up at a product, give it more of that hero feel, right? So if you're shooting down on top of something, you make it seem a little bit more inferior, whereas if you're shooting up towards something, it seems a little bit more grand and larger than life. So we'll use those sorts of camera tricks to be able to pull something like that off. We've also been kind of guilty of having a bunch of different product shots that combine all of those elements. So utilizing a probe lens, a slider, and maybe some kind of rotation. You'll see in this particular shot here, we kind of get tricky with it, right? But the whole idea here is to make that product seem as alluring and intriguing as possible and do everything you can to make the viewer feel like they are inside of that particular shot. So if you're doing things like drinks, make that drink seem very attractive, like nice and frosty glass, those sorts of things. If you're doing food, maybe you want some steam elements, just really make people feel like that's something they have to have in your hero shots. Another incredibly valuable element for your product video are use case shots, or shots in which the product is being used in its intended use case, right? So these are the types of things where you see people utilizing the product in the way in which it's intended. So let's say that you've got, I don't know, some sort of lawn care product. It's a shot of someone outside spraying their grass with that type of fertilizer, right? If you're utilizing something that's a drink, or that it's a food element, or perhaps it's some sort of aftermarket car product, you want to be able to show that thing being used on its intended product, right? Now, all the while, what you're trying to do is showcase the product in the best light, quite literally, as possible. So making sure that you're not blocking the product labels or that you're cutting off key feature sets in the way that you're shooting things. You're trying to balance having action shots that showcase that product, but also making the product look as beautiful and intriguing as possible. So it's a little bit of an art there to try and make those things happen, but it's totally doable. You just have to take a little bit of extra planning and preparation to make sure that it's happening correctly. The next thing I wanted to talk about are voiceovers. Now, voiceovers are incredibly effective at showcasing the differentiation between your product and its competitors and the key feature set that people are going to assume when they buy that product. Now, a lot of the times we'll use voiceovers from third parties. You can find them on Fiverr, you can find them on Upwork. There's plenty of people that are doing reasonably priced voiceover work from the comfort of their own home, and they really do go a long way in terms of the way in which that product is going to be perceived from the potential clientele. If you, as the person that owns the product, has a great voice and or you would like to do some direct to camera stuff as well, that can serve as a very great voiceover. And we've done that fair amount of times in the past where the product owner is the person talking to us about the product itself and giving us the key features as we roll on B-roll and other different elements to enhance what those visuals and the voiceover are doing, right? So voiceover where you're hiring it out or you yourself are the person doing the voiceover are always excellent elements. And if you can use captions whenever possible, that is highly, highly suggested because 70% of viewers are looking at videos without the sound on. So leave some space for captions. Now, speaking of text and motion graphics, let's talk about an accompaniment to your voiceover, which would be some sort of motion graphics and or graphic design and virtual effects that accompany your particular video. Now, these things admittedly are something that's a little bit higher level of a product video. Not everyone can use After Effects or Fusion, so really take them kind of with a grain of salt, but they really truly enhance the quality of your product video and especially the way in which the value of that product is conveyed to potential customers. Now, we utilize a ton of motion design in our videos in terms of text animations, as simple as something that's a lower thirds across the bottom, or we'll have like a full different reveal and feature set that happens. And I've done videos on these things in the past on how you can kind of stack very simple elements of motion design to create a more elegant look in terms of the reveals and the scaling and the positioning and all those sorts of things. Text is an incredibly valuable element when it's accompanied by voiceover because you're kind of doubling down in terms of the visual medium that we have on things that you want the buyer to pay attention to and make sure that they understand. You can also use some sort of graphic design in terms of other callouts, like if it says, here's a timer waiting for a particular time, put a clock up there and a time going by. You can have a bunch of different visual effects too, like you're working with the speaker and you want to show that the sound is moving across space. You put some turbulent displacement maps across time so it looks like sound's moving. You do a whole bunch of other stuff in terms of callouts for your video, but just be aware that there's budgetary concerns where those sorts of things are concerned because motion graphics and virtual effects are not cheap. But if you have the budget and you can find somebody that has a quality deliverable, they can be an incredible asset to your product videos. Now, if you just took those 3 suggestions for how to improve your product videos, I'm really confident that you're going to be able to come up with something that's incredible. But there's also some other things that I would like to discuss here that have nothing to do with your actual product video and everything to do with the mindset of how you should be focusing on video as a product. Now, a lot of times what we hear as a video production company in Los Angeles is, hey, we would just need a video that's like 30 seconds that showcases these things. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we agree with you. You do need that video. But you might need other videos also. What if people have questions about exactly what that product does? Maybe you need an explainer video. Maybe people have a question on how to actually use the product once they have it. Maybe you need a how-to video. What if people are concerned about what comes inside of the product? Maybe you need an unboxing video. Maybe people are nervous about spending that type of money and that they don't know that that product's going to solve their problems. Well, then you need a testimonial video talking to them about prior customers that have had similar levels of success with the same product that you have. And what if clients don't actually know if you're the right company to be purchasing from because you don't align with their values? Well, then you need a brand film to talk to them about why you're in business and why you're creating these products in the first place. You see, when you start to look at it from that context and you see how far down the funnel video can be used as a service for your business in communicating with customers, you start to understand that simply a product video is too narrow of a scope for you to be focusing on. Now, I get it that sometimes budgetary concerns mean that I can only create a product video right now, but as Stephen Covey talks about in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is a great book, by the way, you should definitely check it out if you haven't, you want to begin with the end in mind and at least come up with a plan of action and be testing the market to see what exactly your consumers could need. It's unfortunate sometimes that we get into a situation where people think, I just need a 15-second video or 30-second video and it'll solve all of my problems. That's not necessarily true, because video as a service works best together when it's planned out as a suite of assets that get delivered so that you can effectively communicate and market to your clients. So with that in mind, think about all of the different elements of the product video that you would want to showcase to your potential customers of the value that that product will bring to their lives, but also think of the other stopgaps and questions that could pop up and utilize video as a service to help you market and answer those questions and keep the continuous communication and dialogue going with your potential customers. The more touch points you have, the more brand equity that you build with your clients, the more brand equity that you build, the higher your level of revenue, and the more successful that your video endeavors will be. If you like this video, then like the damn video. And if you haven't already, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for posting notifications, because we post content every week here on the business of being a creative and filmmaking tips. So hopefully this one brought you some value. If it did, let me know in the comments section what was the best part of this video for you. And if you have any more questions, I'm always in there dropping answers back to you. I don't even know what I'm doing right now with my hands, but I'm about to get out of here because it's too long of a wind and I'm about to cut it short. So if I don't see you in the past year, I'll see you in the future. Peace.